Miguel Castaneda here again, and a lot of my videos are at night. I'm up at night. I'm a night owl, and you'll probably see some during the day sometime in the future. My sleep cycle, my circadian rhythm changes frequently. So I got my glasses on. I have to use them to drive. Makes me look kind of smart, hopefully. And here you'll see, let me zoom in. I'm at the VA, the Veterans Affairs, and I'm making this vlog and this video because this is where my, psych journey started. And this is where they tap into your psyche and use psychedelics and all that sort of psychobabble, psychological crazy stuff, right? So I'm gonna try to find a bench to sit at and then start jumping into my story. But I'll start off with saying that when I first went to the psych ward, my first day at the psych ward was here at the VA here in San Antonio, and there it is again. I'll get closer to it here in a second. But some stuff happened. Had a psychological break, maybe a kind of like a mental breakdown, you could say, a psychological break, and like a mental fracture. And some stuff happened. I lost a loved one and got involved in just drinking and pills and doing drugs, and obviously getting into altercations and conflicts and confrontation and adversarial type of stuff in nature. And starting with the police, yeah. I would talk shit to them, and I was just rambling. I don't even know what I was saying. And I remember some of it. I threatened them. When they showed up, to where I was staying. I was talking shit. I was threatening them, and there was like 30 of them. So I think SWAT was there, and they were ready to kill me. They had their guns pointed at me. They were pissed, and some might have been scared a little bit because they didn't want to kill me. They were like kind of worried maybe they would get in trouble, file paperwork, all sorts of that kind of shit. Maybe they would get suspended or whatever. So I think some cops try not to commit too much murder, but I didn't have a weapon. I was unarmed. I was just talking shit, and so they didn't kill me, and I just damaged the property. I was staying with family, and I damaged the whole place and flipped over the piano, and broke liquor bottles and damaged some shit and threw everything around and broke stuff. There was shit everywhere. And so I got charged with property damage, 911 abuse, some other shit, probably like, I don't know if it was like domestic threat or something like that. But pretty much all got dropped because they sent me here to the psych ward. I went to jail for like a night. They put me in a taco suit so I couldn't hurt myself. It's a taco suit. It's like a Velcro suit. You can't hang yourself with it. And they put you in segregation. It's like a rubber room, so you can't even bang your head against the wall to try to hurt yourself. You can't kill yourself. It's just a rubber room. It'll kind of like maybe give you a headache, but it's not gonna bust your head open because it's like a kind of a soft wall. It was not padded. It's just like a rubber room, and it's kind of hard rubber, but there's just a hole to shit in the floor, so you don't even get a toilet. So because you could smash your head on the toilet or try to drown yourself in the toilet or something. And then you don't even get your own faucet in usually in jail. You get your own faucet to drink whenever you're thirsty. You don't even get that because you could drink too much, maybe try to drown yourself or something by drinking too much, or they call it drowning on dry land. So they just monitor how much you eat, how much you drink. They just give you what you need. You can't even get toilet paper. They give you a small amount to wipe your ass, just because I guess you could wrap it up real tight and hang yourself with it. Apparently some people try it, or they could be used as a weapon, apparently. So they put me in there for one day. Then I guess some people coordinated. Maybe I said something. I threw a piece of paper at the magistrate, he wrote me up, and then I just threw the paper at him, and I didn't hit him, but they threw me on the ground. Cops threw me on the ground. They wanted to mace me and shit. I was like, no. I said I'm good, and they just cuffed me up, and so I ended up here at the psych ward. It's really not my first day. My first day was in a California psych ward. California, I was just doing some crazy shit. I got injured, threw me in a psych ward for one day. Nothing really too crazy happened there. I just pretty much just woke up in a psych ward, in California. I forget the city. Maybe it was like San Clemente or something like that. I'm not sure. I really don't know. A friend picked me up. So, and then my second stay was here at the San Antonio VA. There it is. That's where they just started really drugging me up big time, on all sorts of shit. They tried me on different things, and the reason they did that was because I tried to escape. I really did escape. I jumped over a wall. I had it planned out pretty good because if you're unaware, with all fire alarm systems, when the fire alarm goes off, usually emergency exit doors unlock. So the emergency exit doors unlock when a fire alarm goes off, because the systems and the systems and are hardwired and programmed to unlock the doors in case there's a fire so people can escape. And so because I knew that, I pulled the fire alarm and open the exit door for the emergency exit. It didn't work the first time, so I had to try again. It busted open. So usually in psych wards, I was in a psych ward, everything's locked. You're not allowed to go out whenever you want. Everything's locked because they didn't want you escaping or going out when it was night or whatever. So it did work. Pulled the fire alarm, busted through the emergency exit, jumped over a really high wall. Took me 2 attempts. It's like maybe 7 to 8 feet tall. I don't know how tall it was. It's pretty tall. Took me 2 attempts, and I barely got my fingers over and climbed over. And the nurses came out. They were like, get down, get down. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I got down on the other side, jumped down, smashed through I punched through a glass pane, a glass window. It was really thick, and I cut my hand, and I was bleeding. I have a scar on my hand. Probably can't see it, but it's a light scar. But I mean, they had to give me sutures. They had to give me sutures on that shit, like probably 10 or something like that, 10 sutures, and sew it back up because it was just exposing the inside of my hand. And there was 2 panes of glass, so I smashed through one. I broke one, and the second one, I couldn't break through for some reason. It was just it was tougher or something. So I remembered I ran past a storm drain. The storm drain was not bolted down. If you know what a storm drain is, it's where water drains down into a sewer. And I picked up the storm drain. It's the cover. It's really heavy. It was probably, I would say, 60 to 80 pounds. It was big and heavy. And I lifted it up barely over my head. I smashed through the glass. It took me 2 attempts, and then I jumped through, and I was leaving a trail of blood everywhere. I went down some stairs. I didn't know where I was going. I was just trying to escape. I went from a yard to broke through a window after jumping over a wall and all that, and then ran down some stairs. And then this is all at this hospital, the VA hospital, and somehow there's cops there. There's cops or guards or whatever you want to call them, VA police, and they arrested me. I was in a psych pajamas and everything. I was in pajamas, and the buttons were coming undone, so my pants were falling down and all that. And there was a woman there. She didn't know what was going on. She was like a receptionist or something like that, like a nurse. And then there was she was just surprised. She didn't know what was going on. And then 2 cops really came out of nowhere, just tackled me like football players, and they just came at me, and I was like, I got AIDS, you're gonna get infected. I got AIDS, you're gonna get infected. And I was still bleeding everywhere, and I didn't throw blood at them or anything, but they were like, they were kind of like startled, I guess you could say. And I don't have AIDS. I checked recently, so thank God. But you know, they just when they put me back in the psych ward after they tackled me and I was bleeding everywhere, they gave me stitches, sutures on my hand, you know, to prevent that from getting messed up or bleeding more or exposing, you know, getting infected and all that. And then they you know, they gave me a shot, another shot. I don't know what it was. Sometimes they give me injections. They don't even tell me what it is. They just drug me up. And I literally just blacked out. I just blacked out. I had blood on my pants. I just woke up. They said I was in other veterans' rooms looking for cigarettes. And, you know, they said, let me give you that background of the VA. They said, you see that? They said I was, you know, in other veterans' rooms trying to looking for cigarettes, and I don't remember that at all. I was looking under the mattresses. I was looking in drawers, and you know, I don't know what I was looking for, and so some dude, like, I just woke up with 3 cigars, like 3 Black and Milds or Swisher Sweets or whatever they were, and you know, I woke up with 3 cigars. You know, they were a little larger than cigarettes. So, you know, smoked those with some veterans. And, you know, so after a while, you know, I was on lockdown. They wouldn't let me go outside. And, you know, I guess they were monitoring me on 24/7, like a suicide watch or something like that. That's what they wanted to, that's what they called it, just so they can monitor me 24/7. They were like, oh, we have to watch you in the shower. And it was like, in the shower? Come on, man. It's like, they're like, oh, it's on the paper. It's like, you know, they're all technical, so it's like, whatever. I shower in my boxers or not shower. It's like perverts, you know. And you know, so when they eventually let me go out during the day again, and you know, I was like, well, you know, fuck this place. And you know, there was a tall fence, and it's like a curved fence, so it's hard to jump over, and there was an electrical box on it, and the electrical box gave me something to leverage on my foot on, so I jumped on it and then jumped up from that, from the electric box, on the fence. It was about midway up, you know. I jumped on that, and then I jumped over the fence from there. So, you know, and then there was 2 fences, so I had to jump over a taller one, and they were all chained up and stuff like that. And then I ended up in a parking lot, and then I kept running in my pajamas and sandals, and you know, I went through some apartments, and I was trying to find a bike, and I saw some dude. I'm like, asked him if he could give me a ride out of town, and he's like, no. He's like, it's his family's car, this and that, and he was kind of scared. He was a little bit, he didn't know who I was. He thought I was crazy. And so, you know, shit can get really crazy in the city, you know, so you never know. But, you know, I started using the cell phone, started using the payphone. This is all in my book, Chest Perception, Mindset is Everything. It's my autobiography. And, you know, sometimes it's good to put a face to it, and so you could hear me talk about it and listen to me, you know, listen to word of mouth, you know. So, you know, this has all happened. And so I was on the payphone, and I was just trying to call out and seeing who I could get a hold of, maybe a taxi, right? 222-2222, I think that's the number. And, you know, couldn't get a hold of anyone, didn't have any change, but trying to make a collect call and this and that, and 211 and whatever I could use. But this cop just put his hand on my shoulder. I don't know, I saw the lights, there was lights flashing, and he, red and blue lights, and then he's like, I'm like, I think you got the wrong guy, sir. And then he's like, nah, I got the right guy. I was like, oh man. And so I went in the back of his cop car, and he took me back and to the VA psych ward, and they were upset because they were like, we could get fired for, we went to college, and we could get fired for not monitoring you or something like that. It's like, because if I escape and something happens, then they feel like they're liable or something, right? Because they should have been protecting or monitoring, or it's really like babysitting. But if we're in their care or something happens, you know, they feel they could get in trouble. And they were like, well, we went to college, and we don't want to lose our job, and we have kids and stuff like that. It's like, so, you know, long story short, that was my stay at the VA psych ward. And you know, and really, you know, that I understand where they're coming from. And I wanted to talk about different psych stays that I've had at different hospitals. This is just the VA. When I did escape that time, they asked me why I escaped, and I said, well, it's my training, and I did some reconnaissance and things like that, and I was just trying to get information and intelligence gathering, and they always thought I was trying to they thought I would hurt myself, hurt someone else, but really it's just really about intelligence gathering. And they labeled me with PTSD, like post-traumatic stress disorder, because I was usually trying to escape, or so one of the doctors, a different doctor, they got multiple doctors, and at first it started with some doctors, a chief psychiatrist, and then some other doctor, I don't want to say names, but they finally diagnosed me with PTSD, and then so that helped, in a sense, right? I guess so they could understand and not just try to abuse me with so many different medications. But I got out, and eventually things happened where I got in trouble with the law. You could read it in my book, and I'm pretty specific, a little bit graphic and detailed, and it's comprehensive, it's concise. So I shot up a house, and you'll find out more about that in my book. But my family was involved. No one got hurt. I didn't hurt anybody. I wasn't trying to. And it looks really bad anytime you discharge a weapon, wherever it is, in public or in the air, because a bullet can come down, and even on the ground, because it can hit a rock and ricochet. There's always a danger. So they always take that very seriously. So when I discharge a firearm into a property, and there was a lot of property damage, that's where I did the most time, and that's why I did about 10 years in psych wards. I spent about 3 years in jail, and administrative segregation, which is like supermax, they call it, lockdown, supermax lockdown. You're out, like you're allowed 1 hour a day for just like 3 days a week, and in the rec yard. That's it. That maybe the law library. Other than that, you're on lockdown. It's hard to become a trustee. They're not going to trust you based on your offense or crime. So it's hard to get work or get good credit or anything like that. So did 3 years in ad set supermax pretty much, and then about 2 years at Vernon, which is North Texas State Hospital, which is max security psych unit, and I got on the worst unit, which is Behavior Modification Treatment Program, BMTP, Behavior Management Treatment Program, where they try to modify your behavior like it was World War II or something like that, like we were Jews or something like that, right? Like they just want to anything that you do that upsets the doctors, whatever you say, whatever you do, if they don't like something about you, they'll medicate you to try to make you act better, right? It's about behavior modification. So if you cuss, and that's just the way you are, like if you're in the military, you cuss a lot, they'll think you're aggressive or something like that, or you're agitated, right, or irritated, and then they'll medicate you to try to calm you down. They say you need to calm down. And if you fight someone in self-defense, they call it retaliation. If you beat up a pedophile or a rapist or a murderer, if they killed someone innocent or raped a kid or even raped a baby, it happens. It's rare, but some people are really sick and there's something wrong with them. And if we beat them up because we have morals and ethics and principles, that this is a gentleman thing to do, right? If you're back in the day, cowboys and outlaws and stuff like that, it's just sometimes it's about principle and things like that, protecting a woman or protecting a kid. And so we beat up a predator, we'll beat up a pedophile or a rapist or something like that, and then they'll call that like an attack or aggression or assault. They call it assault, but we don't get charged. We have no rights. We don't get to go to court. We don't get a lawyer. We just get automatically drugged up because we're already in psych ward. So it's just automatic, drugs, psycho medication, pretty much. And so it's really like chemical warfare, because I'm gonna walk around, because damages your liver and kidneys. It affects your cognitive functioning. It could damage your heart. People die from medication like that. Medication that I've been on, like clozapine, has killed over 7,000 people. There's a lot of medication that, how could it be medicine if it kills people? If someone's we're trying to help you, and then they die, how can you be how can you be a doctor? A lot of doctors are not really truly doctors, because they get paid as a doctor, and just because you get paid as a doctor doesn't make you a doctor. The definition of a doctor, not legally, but in my terms, it's like, my definition is a doctor is someone who helps someone, save someone's life, who saves someone's life, who saves lives, And a lot of doctors are out there taking lives, killing people, and not really even caring or changing the way they do things. So, but back to Vernon, so we'll get in some fights, and we do this organized, and we're pretty much organized criminals. If the government ever sees this, well, if I'm just some schizophrenic psych patient, psychotic, bipolar, PTSD, ADD, ODD, OCD, ADHD, with STDs, and what else, autism and Down syndrome, and cerebral palsy, and whatever I got, right? They could say anything they want. I might have a little bit of autism and stuff like that, but they don't need to be abusing me with so many medications. But, well, what I say when I say, like, maybe we did some organized criminal activity, that's what it's technically defined as. But if we're doing the right thing, if we're attacking someone who murdered his school teacher, some dude murdered a school teacher, another dude murdered his own mother, another dude raped a child, his stepdaughter, and he would claim that he had IED, which is like intermittent explosive disorder or something like that, right? So, he would wonder why we'd beat him up, but he was pretty lower functioning. So when I say, I'd get with gangs, I'd get with Crips or Bloods, and you want to learn about that stuff. And this dude taught me that this may or may not be true, because I'm not in any gang, but I've operated with some gang members. And Blood is Black Leaders of Our Democracy, right? So BLOOD, Black Leaders of Our Democracy. Crips is about different things, and I know they have beef and stuff like that, but I don't really care about all that. So we rioted, we damaged $50,000 worth of property. So the most expensive equipment would be cameras and computers, CCTVs, which is the cameras up on the ceiling. We broke about 8 to 10 of those. They were all on the whole unit, and those are expensive, right? There was wires coming down from the ceiling. We just pulled those out, damaged them, smashed them on a table. We were smashing tables, smashing TVs. We were breaking windows. We were breaking the locks on the doors. We broke into a door with a card, with an ID card. They would give us an ID card, and we used it to break open one of the secure rooms where there was more computers and servers and stuff like that. I did most of that. I was just smashing computers, breaking them, smashing the screens and all that. So they thought I was leading that. I was just going with the flow. Some people were just smashing, fighting. I was just starting to break stuff. Everyone's like 3 of us just started smashing stuff and smashing on this psychiatric unit at Vernon, max security, North Texas State Hospital. So eventually they charged me with $50,000. I never paid. They probably got the money from me eventually, because the hospital started taking my money, and I had saved up, and it's ridiculous because I was left pretty much almost broke and destitute when I got out. But that's what they got. And after we smashed everything, they just started drugging us. I got lucky because after I went retarded. I was really retarded. I was sleeping all day, wasn't showering. It was really difficult for me to go to court, and I was barely able to defend myself verbally, saying these are Texas penal codes and I know the law and I could defend myself. And we were just trying to work for a demolition crew and prove that we can work. So that's why we were breaking stuff. So they thought we were really like sick and needed help. So they sent us to a minimum security psych unit, right? And you know, but some other things that happened in the psych ward, I guess I might talk about later. But you know, it's kind of funny because some people will claim gangs and all that, and when they fight you, they'll throw their chanclas at you, they throw their sandals at you. There's like, that's how they start shit. They just throw a sandal at you, and they miss, right? And they just want to fight. And you know, we'll fight and stuff like that. It's not even that bad. I'll just grab dude, you know, wrestle him down, and then the staff will get involved, and no one really gets hurt, you know, sometimes. And then we just like we talk about it later, and we just say, hey, you're a good fighter, and he's like, yeah, you're a good fighter too. And that's pretty much it. Never see him again. And then this other dude, some people might claim like, you know, MS-13 or something like that, and he's just a white dude saying he's in the army and stuff like that, and he's really a really psych patient, like really messed up. And I shouldn't have messed him up that bad, but I beat him up, choked him out, and I was scared. You know, I thought he was really MS-13 or something. Like, I didn't know, like army or something. I thought he was trying to kill me, and he said he was going to kill me. And so I was just defending myself. And then, you know, that's when staff busted me in the head and hit me in the head so hard I was bleeding all over the floor, left a puddle of blood on the floor. And you know, thought I was going to die. I just started saying bye to my friends, and I was really I was talking to my friends, a couple of them, and we were calling clients' rights, and nothing really happened. They didn't give me an ice pack. They didn't give me ibuprofen to reduce swelling. They didn't give me an ice pack to reduce swelling, nothing. And you know, luckily it healed, stopped bleeding. My pillow was covered in blood in the morning, and I guess the pillow might have kind of like been like gauze or something, like a bandage, because they wouldn't even give me a bandage. So you know, things can happen, really serious things can happen at max security. And there's drugs being smuggled in there too, dip, Copenhagen, people getting sick and throwing up. It's probably laced with fentanyl and shit like that. You know, they know what they're doing usually. Then a doctor, I won't say names, but she felt I was not a danger to society, or I was not manifestly dangerous anyway, and they sent me to minimum security at Kerrville State Hospital. And that's where some shit happened, where there was more drug dealers, there was more people into fucking computers, like Anonymous. They were claiming Anonymous, which is the hacker group. And you know, they were rappers, people trying to rap, people like street rappers, underground street rappers, and there was beef, and you know, people talking shit, people getting in fights, and people doing drugs. Some dude died from something happened with his heart, and it could have been drugs, or it could have been a pacemaker, whatever they were saying. They were just, you know, they try to cover up stuff like that, but we didn't know why, so we were tripping. And they had a funeral there, and you know, some other people just lost their minds because maybe the shit they were doing was like PCP, which is like embalming fluid or something like that, fries your brain. And some dudes were just like running around naked, getting in fights naked, and you know, just pretty much beating off in public, and in the day room, and in front of staff, and just throwing up everywhere, and just leaving vomit everywhere, and you know, just running around naked. It's ridiculous. But some people get fried like that. Their brain gets fried. They don't know what they're doing. They have no control. And that's what's messed up about it. But you know, I made some tracks. I made about 3 or 4 CDs. You know, and I'm not, some of them I guess I'm proud of, you know, just putting lyrics together, and you know, trying to figure out what we're drawing, how it makes sense, and you know, how to make it interesting, and you know, match with my personality, and maybe just a little bit be aggressive in the rap realm, in the rap world, you know. And I published it on SoundCloud, on YouTube and stuff like that, but I eventually took it down because it wasn't as professional, right? To make it professional, you need to work with teams, you need to make videos, you need to market and all that stuff. It's just a business, right? So you know, some of it I made some remorseful tracks, or some sad tracks, and some pretty upbeat or funny, and some pretty crazy tracks. But you know, I guess that was just a time in my life where it did help me. It was a therapy, really, like music therapy, therapeutic. You know, but I didn't make too much money from that. I sold a few CDs to some other patients, and they wanted to keep my CDs. They thought they were interesting, or you know, they just wanted to support me. But you know, after all that, you know, started playing chess a lot, got involved in chess. uh I got in like a small altercation with another patient because he beat up a female nurse. He was beating up women. He'd beat up women a lot, like every that's really who he'd attack because they're easy targets, and they can't really fight back. And he was just a autistic kid or something like that, maybe, I don't know. But you know, I feel bad for him. Maybe he was doing it for a reason. Maybe he thought he was protecting other psych patients, but you know, maybe his dad died or something like that. I heard him on the phone talk about something like that. But you know, I got in an altercation with him, and the doctors freaked out. They put me on drugs, and they put me on hardcore drugs, clozapine and some other shit. And that people die from that. Like I told you, people die from that because it's such a depressant. It's worse. It's like fentanyl or heroin or morphine or something like that, where just it brings you down like to a very low level to where you could barely function. Some people can somehow because they really need it, but for me, it wasn't like I wasn't sick. I didn't need help. I was not ill. I did it. I fought for a purpose because that was I was trying to you know, teach that dude a lesson, like why don't beat up chicks, right? Beat up men. I guess it doesn't really matter. You shouldn't discriminate. If a woman, like in a psych world, you know, if she's drugging you up and you got to defend yourself, that's all you know how to do. But for me, I thought that was wrong. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll just, you know, teach him a lesson like the gentleman. It's a gentleman thing to do. But you know, now looking back on that, it's like, you know, people, the whole world makes it seem like, well, you should never hit a woman. I had a friend tell me that, well, 007, right? 007 James Bond, you know, he'll kill a chick, right? If a chick's ordering hits and stuff like that, or, you know, if a chick is like, you know, putting fentanyl and drugs, she's killing people, she's responsible, or she's ordering hits, you have to take out the top leader, right? The head of the organization. If that's a female, you do what you got to do, right? You know, there's no discrimination in warfare. If a kid has a weapon, right? Even in America, when cops kill kids sometimes, and it's because they have a toy gun or something like that. It looks like they're gonna shoot, and you know, that even cops kill kids, right? In America. So in warfare, if they have weapons, RPGs or AK, whatever, they got a pistol or something like that, it's like, and they're actually shooting at you, you have to kill a kid. It's just life or death, you know. So there's no discrimination. There's no line to where like you know, you should never attack a woman or something like that. But if she poses a threat to your life, even a police officer, right? Even a police officer poses a threat to your life, and they're acting unlawfully. If it's an unlawful arrest, if they're using extensive force, like brutal force and unlawful force that could put you in danger and your health and life in danger, and it's unlawful, unnecessary, brutal force, you have the right to defend yourself, whatever that takes, right? So that's what I learned as a paralegal. That means, and you know, I don't want to get too extreme, right? But you know, I've fought cops before. You know, I've wrestled them, and you know, they choke me out sometimes. I just get outnumbered, right? They gang up on me, but you still have a right to do what you got to do to defend yourself, and that includes like self-defense, right? Self-defense laws and stuff like that. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Even duress, right? So, you know, it's hopefully it's rare that you'll be in a situation like that, but sometimes in some cities and some neighborhoods, the cops can be pretty crooked. The cops can be you know, pretty racist, you could say. They shouldn't be in that neighborhood, you know, and they shouldn't be on a power trip, right? Because they got a badge and a gun. If they had, you know, balls, they would go undercover, dressed up just as a civilian, like just regular clothes, right? And talk to people just like a regular person and try to figure out what's going on, and if they have to, you know, do sting operations and stuff like that, but hopefully no one gets hurt, right? So that it should all be super coordinated and really sophisticated types of arrests and stuff like that, and operations, right? So instead of just freaking out, oh my gosh, I'm scared for my life and I feel threatened, so he just shoots up an unarmed black guy, right? Cops kill unarmed black guys all the time. Unarmed black people, Breonna Taylor, and you know, I looked it up, over 30,000, like 32,000 unarmed black people have been killed by cops since the year 2000. Over 30,000. That's kind of a lot, right? So it's pretty bad. And you know, I try not to pick sides or anything, but I know I could end up in a situation like that because I'm technically a person of color. You know, I might be not as dark, but I'm still a person of color. So, you know, back to the minimum security psych ward in Kerrville. You know, made some CDs. There was drugs being distributed by anonymous hacker group, and you know, people rapping and people running around naked, getting in fights, beating up staff. One of the staff got knocked out. He had to get hospitalized, and the doctors just drugged people up. And eventually I just chilled out. I'm just chilling, watching movies, and I'm just playing Xbox and stuff like that with a friend. And we're just playing Xbox, chilling, watching movies, going to the canteen, which is like a food store, getting some food, breaking bread, you know, making CDs, just rapping. And after a while they just saw we're not really troublemakers. We're just like really trying to get by and start a business, whether it's with music as an artist or, you know, something like that, right? So, you know, for me, they knew I'm good because I have you know, certain you know, opportunities, right? I got education paid for by the government, financial aid programs, stuff like that, right? So they sent me out, you know, and they sent me to a judge. You know, we went to court. The doctors were in court. They said I'm not dangerous. I'm not manifestly dangerous to society. And you know, the judge agreed, and he let me go. I'll hit more on what happened after that. You know, this is a pretty long video, but well, I might as well touch on the subject right now too, because after I did get out, you know, I traveled around, met some homeless chicks, gave them some money. They're homeless. They had a cardboard sign saying "Seeking Human Kindness." It's like, are you asking for money? It's like, all right, here, I gave them some money. And you know, it's like seeking human kindness. That's, I don't see that too often. Like, it's like there's so many mean people. It's just, people are mean, you know. Nurses say it all the time. People are mean. They could do really mean, cruel, brutal, you know, heinous things. And so seeking human kindness is really, I guess you could say, it's rare to find someone who's genuinely kind, you know. And you know, so I came back to where I was living at here in San Antonio, and you know, I started going to college. I started using Texas Hazelwood Act or something like that, right? Government benefits to go to college. And I was doing good. I was acing federal government. I was acing, you know, these different classes I was in. That's the main one I remember, right? Art, history, U.S. government history, stuff like that. And you know, so student development. It was a little bit tough for me because I was out of school for like 10-15 years, something like that, right? I was still acing it, and then my court order expired. My court order expired, meaning that I don't have to take medication anymore because my court order is expired. How can they legally enforce me to take meds and drugs, psych drugs, if my court order is expired? And the court's it was an oversight, and they failed to renew the court order in time. I found out about it. I called. I said, "Is it renewed?" They said, "No, it's expired." So I was like, well, I don't have to take medication anymore. I wrote the DA. I found her personal email. I shouldn't have done that. It should have been her professional business legal email, right? Her lawyer's email. But I, you know, wrote her. They said that was creepy. They said that was kind of worrisome or concerning because it felt like I was stalking or something, right? Like stalking her, like, you know, cyber stalking or something like that, right? So I just said, you know, I'm good. I'm straight. I don't want to take meds anymore, you know, and I'm going to discontinue because my court order expired. They sent me to court. They said, "Oh, you missed a dose." It's like, yeah, I missed a dose. My court order is expired. And they said, well, your mental health is deteriorating and we're going to have to send you back to a hospital. And that's where I did 3 more years in a psych ward, you know. So I spent 3 years at San Antonio State Hospital, and this is, you know, towards the max of time I've spent in psych wards, right? 3 more years at San Antonio State Hospital, where I collected art. We started drawing. We started doing some artistic work. I didn't get in a single fight. I didn't have to do anything. I witnessed some fights. I witnessed chicks fighting and chicks fighting over men. And, this chick gave this other patient a blowjob, and they were spreading STDs, and this dude had AIDS, and he was getting in a fight and bleeding and threatening people with AIDS and all that. And it's pretty bad because people get in fights, and the nurses are so corrupt. The nurse will be like, just go fight in the restroom, just go fight in the restroom, because there's no cameras in the restroom. And they want them to just like duke it out, right? Just take care of business and settle the score, right? They just want them to settle it. And that's how corrupt the nurses are. They'll hold a patient while he's getting beat up and punched in the face. They'll just hold him down. It is so bad. Like, they're so retarded. It's like their education, they have no street sense at all. And it's not too bad, because I got threatened. This dude wanted to fuck me up and kill me. He wanted to beat me up. He said he's gonna fuck me up and kill me. And he was a predator. He was some sort of like sex offender or something like that. And how dangerous he was bigger than me. He could have messed me up maybe, right? But I just worked it out with the superintendent to where they put me on a different unit. And after good behavior, they sent me on the best unit, where I had more privileges, and I started going to online programs, and I had my own computer and own Wi-Fi. And I was taking care of business, right? Trying to get my education, trying to get a job, provide for my family. So they saw I was doing good. I wrote my first autobiography at SASH, San Antonio State Hospital. With all the time I had in my hands, 3 years, that's why I didn't get in trouble. I was just writing books, editing all day, just reading my book, thinking of what I'm going to say, how I'm going to write, how I'm going to word this, working with the team, making videos, book trailer, right? Like a book trailer video, like a preview. It's like a commercial, or like a preview for your book, right? Making one of those, trying to do a little bit of marketing, social media, building social media accounts, doing all this with my iPhone 7. I published my first book with my iPhone 7. I published a few books in the psych ward with my iPhone 7. So anything's possible, man. If you got opportunity, you seize the opportunity, and you could really do a lot with a small amount of resources. With the little bit that you do have, you could do a lot. And I eventually got out. If you can see that, my computer career. That's my swag, right? My swag, my swag jacket. How do you say it? That's just my swagger. So that's a school, and that's just a company that I don't know, some company, they just call it that, but they just you get all these certifications, you get educated, and that's where I'm learning to develop apps and stuff like that, work on websites and app development, Android, iOS, Apple, Mac, the iWatch, the Apple Watch, and the vision and augmented reality and machine learning and artificial intelligence and all that. You learn a whole lot, and you could get certified and become an executive leader, and getting the highest certifications where you're in management. So if you really try your best, and that's a hard school to go through. It's a little bit pricey, but to me it's worth it. The government assisted me with that, and I'm still making my way to find where I'm best suited to work at, right? I'm getting a few job offers, right? But some of them, it's like, well, my specialty would be like, I guess it'd be more like either, I would say, vulnerability management, pen testing, and really securing like critical infrastructure, right? All these other jobs, it's like securing people's credit cards and social security numbers and this and that, and fraud and financial resources. That's one thing, but securing critical infrastructure, you're protecting millions of people's lives, right? So that's where I wanted to get involved in, right? Because that's where you make the biggest impact, right, in society. And that's where you can get paid a pretty good amount too. You really got to know what you're doing. You can't make any mistakes. So that's where I want to bring my specialty and my expertise and skills into protecting the nation and doing what I have to. Even if I can't, if I don't know everything, it could be about management and leadership skills, right? Executive skills and position. So that would be like overseeing and supervising other engineers, making sure they implement all the correct technologies, making sure they're monitoring 24/7, making sure the shifts are right, making sure people show up on time and are doing what they have to and are logging in and doing the appropriate things, log monitoring, and make vulnerability management, making sure there's no gaps or exploits in the system, making sure there's no beacons or rootkits and stuff like that, making sure like nation state actors haven't hacked their way in to our systems, right? Because if they have, that's really not good. They can attack us whenever they want, and that's really a bad position for the US to be in, right? So it's good for me that I'm directed on this path to where possibly I can make an impact in people's lives by maybe being a mentor, right? A cybersecurity mentor, giving them guidance, giving them tips, giving them hack tricks and stuff like that. There's so many resources, a lot of experts, a lot of people that are watching this might already know what they're doing, but for this, mainly for my friends and family and people that know me, I'll be posting later more videos about tools and techniques and methods and TTPs, tools, tools, tactics, and techniques, tactics, techniques, and protocols, right? From adversaries, right? Adversary emulation, right? So, the main takeaway, the key takeaway is, any, I don't know if it paused right there. The key takeaway is anything you do in life or in cybersecurity, right? Even in the military, it's about protecting and defending whatever you have to do, whether it's systems, whether it's information, whether it's classified information, whether it's financial resources or social security numbers, credit card numbers, critical infrastructure, whatever you're protecting people's lives. It's about protecting and defending. And if you have to take it to an extreme level to protect your friends or your family, or to defend your friends and your family, whether it's in court, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, whether physical in nature, whether you know what I'm talking about, right? If you have to take someone's life in self-defense or protecting your friends or family, if there's an imminent threat, we talked about this legally speaking, right? Don't do anything crazy, but if you have to, you got to do something crazy. You should know what you're doing. Be sober, competent, of sound mind. Don't be doing drugs or alcohol. Be straight mind, sound mind, clear-headed, competent, coherent, and you have to be extremely intelligent and versed in the law, right? And you have to have all the circumstances worked out and every situation worked out. A lot of times you could just move and leave to another city if something's going on, right? Just bounce, right? Get the fuck out of town, get the fuck out of Dodge. And a lot of times, sometimes that'll work, right? Whether it's someone addicted, drug dealers in the area, gang members in the area, just split, leave town, go somewhere safe, right? Find somewhere. There's always somewhere else to live. There's apartments everywhere. There's battered women's, children's shelters everywhere. There's hospitals everywhere. There's homeless shelters everywhere. You could find somewhere else to settle down. If you got friends and family, just stay with them. So sometimes I say things off the top of my head, and the main things I want to talk about was my experience and maybe give a little tips and guidance. I'm looking at maybe some cyber mentorship and, talking about my experience and, talking about my life and obviously the honor system, right? The .VIP, you're the VIP. You can make the change in your family's life, in your friends and family's life, in America, in your city, in your town, in your community. Just doing the right thing, right? Following the honor system. And, that's going to be about, doing the honorable thing, right? If you have to do something, even if you don't want to, or even if it's like hurts you a little bit, or, simple things, staying in shape, spending financial resources on your friends and family, on your health, on your mental health, on your education, doing the things you should do, not doing drugs, not hanging around the wrong crowd, not getting involved in gangs, not committing crimes or anything like that. Having due diligence, having vigilance. Vigilance, I'm not sure if that's the right word, as a vigilante, but just doing the right things. And calling the authorities when you have to, getting police involved, getting with every government entity, writing your leaders, writing your Senate, your Congress, your legislature, the White House, anyone you could contact, making yourself known, and speaking your voice, right? There's a lot of people in history that have made an impact, just starting from the bottom, right? And Rosa Parks is a big name, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Barack Obama. Those are people of color who normally wouldn't have had a chance in the past because of their skin color, but because of what they said and how they changed things, and how they convinced and persuaded and millions of Americans, right, that certain things are wrong, certain things are moral, and certain things can be fixed and worked out, and we can work together, and there could be unity. Then MLK, right, Martin Luther King Jr., he did what he did. It cost him his life. And Malcolm X cost him his life. Rosa Parks, I think she lived a good life. She did what she did. She made a stand. She's in textbooks and school books and all that. And Barack Obama, a lot of people don't like him, but he just proved that you could start from the bottom, a person of color, and make it to the top. He was just a district attorney or prosecutor, whatever he was, right? I think he was a lawyer, something like that. So I don't know if he ever had plans, what his plans were, but that's where he made it. He made it to the top, and hopefully he made some good changes. And Trump, he might be doing some things. I know that he's pretty crazy too, right? He got shot in the ear, he got shot at, he got hit in the face pretty much, and he got down, but he stood back up and yelled fight with the power fist, right? He's just fight, just fight. And so that was pretty crazy at his age to just say something like that after what just happened. That just shows a little bit to his character, to where whatever he's doing, he might be doing things for the wrong reasons, or he might be doing things out of greed or cynicism or something like that, but it shows a little bit about his character, because he just has that dog in him. He has that fight attitude, and he might not be as highly educated or speak so eloquently, but he's got a little bit of fight in him. And then Kamala Harris, hopefully she does some good. She likely might make it, right? Whatever she does, I'm hoping that she does things for the community. We need unity in the world, right? We need a good world leader that could represent the world, and show us that we can unite instead of being divided everywhere we go, right? Whether it's skin color, socioeconomic status, or education, or whatever it is, right? That we could work together for a greater cause, And we need to be working for a secure nation, to secure our nation, right? Helping people have the opportunity and things that they need and resources they need for their families, and also cracking down on fentanyl. And that's where I'm going to be speaking the most, right? The honor system, the TheHonorSystem3. This website is mainly for keeping drug addicts free. If you have a problem, if you ever are interested in stuff like that, just do the right thing, right? Back in the day, it's like stay true. Some people get those tattoos, stay true, on their knuckles. And same thing, right? Stay clean, stay abstinent, don't do drugs. The honor system, do the honorable thing. It's not honorable to get messed up and incoherent and inebriated and intoxicated and not be able to drive and get an accident. A lot of domestic abuse happens with that kind of shit, and you slur your speech, you get in trouble with the law, and that's not an honorable thing to do, right? I've been clean for years. I've been clean for almost 15 years, right? Since I've been locked up, I haven't touched a drop of alcohol. I haven't touched a single cigarette. I haven't touched any drugs, And that's an honorable thing to do, because I respect my body, and hopefully other people respect theirs enough to just not get messed up. I know it's fun, it's a social thing, but for me, you can have fun doing other things, right? And you could be helping people, and if that gives you joy, there's a lot of philanthropists that get joy from helping people and donating and stuff like that. There's a lot of activities you could do. Getting drunk, doing this and that, spending time, you can't spend time with your family on a certain level, right? If you're inebriated and intoxicated and you can't even talk right. So just the honor system, everyone's on their own program. Everyone has to abide by their own standards, their own level of education, their own level of experience. but just try to do the best you can, you know. And so, you know, the last message I'll leave y'all with is just try to make America a better place than you found it, you know. We're all gonna leave here and try to make America, you know, a better place than when you found it, than when you got here, you know. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. To my friends and family, I love y'all, and I will see y'all later. Take care. Peace.